Alright, today's notes, we are going to be using box plots, dot plots, and we're going to be finding the values, okay? So example 1 says identify each piece of the dot plot. So this is a dot plot, okay? A dot plot is basically just dots on a number line, as you can see. It represents specific data, okay? So you should have learned this last year. There's a few things we're going to add. So we're going to go through this a little bit faster than normal. So the minimum, when I need to find the minimum, I'm looking for the smallest number. So I want you to go ahead and write that. Smallest. We'll just put the smallest. Then the smallest, if I'm looking over here at my dots or my numbers, my smallest number is 1. Okay, so I'm just going to write this in. So my minimum is 1. My maximum is the largest number. The maximum, so the largest number over here in this data is 12. So I'm plugging in 12. My range. Range, how you find that is you're subtracting your maximum minus your minimum. So I'm subtracting these two numbers here, subtracting 12 minus 1, and that's going to give me my range. So my range is 11. Okay. The mean. The mean, I'll put it on this side. The mean is just the average. So what you would need to do is you would need to add up all of these numbers here and then divide it by how many numbers there are. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add them. I'm going to use a calculator for this so you can see. So I'm adding up all these numbers here. So 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus 11 plus 12. So my total gives me the 71. I'm going to put total the 71. And then I still have to divide by how many numbers there are. You can either count all these numbers here or you can count the dots. I'm just going to count the dots because it's easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that means I'm going to divide by 11. So 71 divided by 11 is going to give me 6 point. That's a large number, right? So we're just going to use the two numbers after the decimal. So 6.45. That is my mean. Okay. My mode, I find my mode by seeing which number is used most often. So which number, you can look over here on the dot plot, it makes it easier. Which number is used most often? Well, 1 has 2 dots and 8 has 2 dots. So those two would be my mode. Those are the most often. So 1, 8. The median means the middle number. Oops, middle number. The middle number, I can easily, if I write out all of my numbers, I'm just going to cross off 1 from each side. Keep crossing them off until you get to what's called the middle number. So right here, I crossed them off, and 7 is odd, it remains, so 7 is going to be my median. Okay. I'm going to take this off. So hopefully this was a review. Hopefully you wrote down all of these so that can help you when we start doing box plots. Okay, pause the video if you need to so you can write that down. Alright, so the next part is a box plot. A box plot is a graphical representation showing a 5-number summary of data. So we're still using these words here. We're going to label this, so it's really important that you write down what I'm writing. So for this side right here represents the minimum. This inside the box, this line is your median, your middle number. This dot right here is your maximum, which is your largest number. And then the dots on the bottom. So this corner right here is going to represent your Q1, your quadrant 1. I want you to go ahead and write quadrant underneath. Quadrant 1. Okay. On this side, this is going to be your Q3, your third quadrant. So I want you to write that down. So how you read this is when you're looking at your number line here, this minimum, you're going to see where it hits on the number line. So your minimum is 2. Your median is 6. Your maximum is 10. Now we're going to look at the quadrants. The quadrant 1 is right here in the middle between 2 and 4. So that's 3. And your Q3 is 8. See how it's right above the number 8? You might not be able to see it on mine, but if you look at your paper, you can see that it says 8. And there's one more thing we need to find. We need to find what's called, and I'm going to do it on the right side of your paper. This is called your interquartile range. Interquartile range. Okay. You find this by subtracting your Q3 minus your Q1. So write Q3 minus Q1 gives you your interquartile range. Sometimes it's also called your IQR. So make sure you write that down. All of this is important. Pause the video if you need to, so you can write this. I also added some steps here just to help you remember what you need to find in each question. Find the minimum and maximum, find the median, find the lower quartile, which is Q1, find your upper quartile, which is Q3, and then you can plot and use that to draw your box. But this one, your box is already drawn. So let's look at example 2, because you're going to do some of these yourself. So here we have a box plot. Okay. The first thing you should be doing on this box plot is you should be labeling this. So I know that this dot is my minimum. I know that this one's my maximum. I know that this line here is my median. And then I gotta find my Q1 and my Q3. So I'm just gonna put Q1, Q3. Good, so we just labeled it really quickly too. So let's go ahead and find our numbers now, because this is what the question's asking for. Identify each piece and then write the values. So the minimum here, I'm gonna go down, but look at that, I'm missing increments here. So it's going from 50 to 60. So I can do my jumps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means these are going by 2s. So 52, 53, let me write it with a smaller pen, 54, and 50, oops, I did that wrong, oh no, because I don't know how to count. So this is 52, 54, 56, and 58. Okay, so that kind of tells us what it's going to be for the rest of them. You're going by 2s. So 62, go ahead and fill that out for me. 4, 66, 68, This is going to make it easier for you when you identify these numbers. Alright, so the minimum, I'm looking where it hits at 54. The maximum is all the way right here, it hits 100, that's my maximum number. My range, remember your range is your max minus your minimum. So the maximum is 100 and the minimum is 54. So that's going to give us 46 because you have to borrow. Okay, so I'm going to write 46 here. The median is the middle number. That's going to give me 70. So 70. The first quartile is right here. 60. The third quartile is 92. As all I'm doing is just looking at where it hits on the line number 92. And then remember the interquartile range is the Q3 minus Q1. That's going to give you your IQR, your interquartile range. So Q3 is 92 minus 60. It's also easier when you label these because you can already tell what your number is going to be. Sorry, you couldn't see that. Make sure you write it down. So 2 minus 0 is 2, 9 minus 6 is 3. So your IQR is 32. So these are easy to find as soon as you labeled your box plot. Make sure you label this. And if you get a dot plot here, make sure you write out all the numbers, okay?